So another colleague that I worked with was Big Dave. Yes, he's called Big Dave because he's only that tall. He's only little. No, he's actually in inches. I think he's 6'4", I think. He's a big lad, very slim, very strong, tough, and I think he's been around the block a few times when it comes to people taking the mickey. So yeah, absolutely, he's one of those guys that you really have to know, and really have to know as a friend. An all-round good guy, let's call him, just like Sean. Another fellow I work with, highly sexed. He's always he's always doing the faces of like he's having sex, or called Roy. He's called Young Roy because his father also works there. Smashing fella, his father, and very educated when it comes to music and general knowledge questions. He's the one that I went to. If I had a song in my mind, I'd sing it to him and he'd tell me who it was.
Sprinkle! 2010.
There was Doug. Doug's a more mature person when it comes to his outlook on life, but he's got 2 mature children. But again, fantastic fella. But he only started a couple of weeks before I left, actually. Who else? Oh, there was Tony. Tony is a real tough talking ginge, just like me, only more handsome. You know them gingers, they do get handsome and handsome, you know. But he's got a full head of hair, unlike mine. Have you seen my hair, by the way? I look like I've been dragged in off the streets, like a tramp who's looking for a sandwich. So I think I've mentioned everybody. Anyway, fantastic place to work, fantastic company to work for, Eddie Stobart's Haulage and Distribution and Cold Storage. I work at a cold storage company which works on the chill basis, which is the temperatures of 0 to +3 to 5, generally 3, but there was 4 massive units, each with 2 fans on it, so there was 8 fans blowing on us, and those fans we tested how cold that they're blowing, and they were blowing at between -3 and -5, which is freezing, I suppose, below freezing. I know you Americans use a different system. Is it Celsius? And then I'm using degrees. So from -3, and we're working +3 to +5. So it's really cold. So you'll notice in those videos that I put up a couple of weeks ago that we're wearing lots and lots of layers of clothes, big thick jackets and gloves, because it is really cold. But when you drop a pallet, then you have to take your coat off, because it's the only time you get to get warm is when you're actually physically working with, you know, picking up a few pounds worth of box and putting them on the pallet. So marvellous place to work for. I was working for 2 different agencies at different times, and unfortunately the wages for agencies are not very good, and unfortunately I was taken off by Eddie Stobart, so the wages are still not that good. Unless you've worked for them for a few years, and I'm sure there's increments where you get faced, or picking my nose again, where you get digging for gold, where you get little, like baby tards always picking her nose, isn't she, from the shade tards. So, fabulous place, and I would advise it to anybody. If you can get on with that company, you've got to do it. They've had a TV show on in England, on Channel 5, showing how they work, what they do, what the drivers, mainly about the drivers, and I got so addicted to it, and I watched each one of them about 3 times. But it helped me to understand a little bit more of the company that I work for, and not just going to work, changing my clothes, going into the warehouse, driving a electric pallet truck and an electric counterbalance truck, you know, where it goes up high. So it gave me a little bit more of an insight about what the company do. And did you know train spotters? There are Stobart spotters as well, and there's people that stand outside the companies, and I've seen them outside ours, with books and cameras, and they write down the information about the truck, and every truck has a female name on the front, like
Sprinkles. It's 2010. Sprinkles.